successive governments have come into power or included in their manifesto a pledge to liberalise the planning system so they can solve the housing crisis by building more houses. And none of them have managed to do it. Why? Because it's unpopular. It's not universally unpopular, but it's unpopular enough for it to be politically very difficult. He's going to have to win a stonking majority if he's going to overhaul the planning system, because even Labour MPs in some constituencies, they have a lot of voters who don't want development to take place in their backyard. They don't want the disruption, they don't want the noise, they don't want the dirt, they don't want the parking restrictions. They particularly don't want, if they live in rural areas, they don't want their views disfigured by, you know, echo crucifixes, amongst other things. So politically, it's incredibly difficult. It's all very well to promise this kind of thing, but unless he wins an absolute stonking majority, and I don't think he will, let's say he's in a coalition with the Lib Dems, they're not going to allow him to liberalise the planning system. Half their voters are NIMBYs, so I don't think it's going to happen.
But do you think it's fair, Emma, to be a so-called NIMBY? So if you save up, you buy this lovely house, I don't know, wherever, and then apparently there's 4 houses on your street, so you think, oh, yeah, that's nice and relaxing, chill out there. And then, oh, actually, no, there's not 4. We've now got planning permission to build a whole new development there, an estate there, now one around the corner there, now one around the corner there. Wouldn't you be in your rights to say, actually, no, hang on a second, I don't want that?
We need to have planning that works for people, but we cannot simply stop, have this small cadre of people who can pass their homes down and stop everybody else from having any opportunity. And we are all Londoners. We're all so our view of this is a little skewed.
I do not regard myself as a Londoner.
You just talked about your London-based problems on getting in here. That's what I mean.
I commute to my London-based studio.
But this is what I mean. You know, what we need to do, and what's really important actually, is to make sure that we're building homes and the infrastructure that supports them and the jobs and opportunities everywhere, so that it's not just about tower blocks going up for the rich in London, but actually the homes that people need near where they grew up, so that they can stay in the communities they grew up in. And that is a really big important part of this. So there is going to be a certain amount of fighting back against NIMBYism. Now, Toby's right in a way. It is politically difficult, which is why I think you do it early. Because if Keir Starmer gets any sort of majority, stonking or otherwise, going early is when you have the goodwill and when you can get it done earlier in a term, so that by that point the pain point has been passed. That's how politics tends to work cyclically. So I think coming out and saying this now, before the election, is actually quite an important way of putting down a marker that it will be a high priority, rather than something that slips down the political agenda.